Greetings, friends. In today's video, we're going to explore a foundational truth from the Hebrew Bible: God is not a man. We'll dive into key passages to understand what this means, not only in terms of God's perfect character, but also his very essence. We'll look at verses that emphasize God's transcendence, incorporeality, and how the revelation at Mount Sinai makes this distinction unmistakably clear. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, it's a pleasure. And remember to check out my book on Amazon. Links in the description. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future discussions. The Hebrew Bible presents a consistent and foundational truth: God is not a man. This principle highlights the vast distinction between the divine and humanity, affirming God's transcendence, incorporeality, and moral perfection. Misunderstanding this concept has led to theological errors, particularly the anthropomorphizing of God, viewing him as a being with human form or limitations. The text emphatically rejects such ideas, reinforcing that God exists beyond the physical and finite. One of the clearest declarations of this truth is found in Numbers 23:19. God is not a man, that he should lie, neither the Son of Man, that he should repent. Has he said, and shall he not do it? Or has he spoken, and shall he not make it good? This verse directly asserts that God is not human, and as such is not subject to human flaws. Humans are fallible, prone to deceit and regret, but God transcends these limitations. The mention of repent here highlights that while humans may change their minds due to imperfections or new insights, God's will is perfect from the outset and requires no revision. Importantly, this verse is not merely speaking about God's moral character in contrast to humanity's corrupt nature. It also makes an ontological statement about God's essence. While humans are prone to sin, deceit, and changeability, God's perfection is absolute, not simply in his ethics, but in his very being. By stating God is not a man, the verse affirms that God's nature is fundamentally distinct from that of humans, not only morally, but also existentially. This distinction is crucial. It emphasizes that God's incorporeality and transcendence are not just about being morally superior, but about existing on an entirely different plane of being. The prophet Hosea echoes this sentiment in Hosea 11 verse 9, where God declares, "I will not execute the fierceness of my anger. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am God and not man, the Holy One in the midst of thee, and I will not come in wrath." In this verse, God distinguishes his divine nature from that of humanity, emphasizing his capacity for perfect mercy and restraint. The term Holy One underscores his separateness and purity, reinforcing that his essence is fundamentally distinct from mankind. Again, this is not just a moral comparison, it is an ontological one. God's mercy is perfect not merely because he chooses to be merciful, but because his nature is inherently unchanging and transcendent. A pivotal moment that underscores God's incorporeality is the revelation at Mount Sinai. This event is central to Jewish faith and provides clear testimony to God's formlessness. In Deuteronomy 4 verse 12, Moses recounts this experience to the Israelites. "And the Lord spoke to you out of the midst of the fire. You heard the voice of the words, but saw no form, only a voice." This verse is crucial. At the most significant moment of divine revelation, when God communicated directly with his people, there was no physical manifestation, no form, no image, only a voice. The absence of any visible form was intentional, teaching the Israelites that God is beyond physical representation. Moses reinforces this idea in Deuteronomy 4 verses 15 to 16. "Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of form on the day that the Lord spoke unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves, and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure." Here, the warning is explicit. The Israelites are cautioned against creating any physical representation of God precisely because they saw no form during the revelation. This directive serves as a safeguard against idolatry, emphasizing that any attempt to depict God diminishes his true, infinite nature. The significance of the Israelites not seeing any form during the revelation cannot be overstated. It serves as a divine teaching moment, illustrating that God's essence is entirely beyond the physical realm. It is not simply that God's character is superior to that of humanity, but that his very being is fundamentally different, immaterial, infinite, and beyond human comprehension. The prophet Isaiah furthers this concept in Isaiah 40 verse 18. To whom then will you liken God? Or what likeness will you compare unto him? This rhetorical question challenges the idea that God can be compared to anything within creation. Isaiah emphasizes that God's essence is beyond human comprehension and cannot be confined to any physical or conceptual likeness. He reiterates this in Isaiah 46 verse 5. To whom will you liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be alike? These verses highlight the futility and danger of reducing God to human terms or forms. While the Hebrew Bible occasionally uses anthropomorphic language, such as references to God's hand, eyes, or face, these are understood as metaphorical. Such expressions are literary devices meant to convey God's actions or attributes in relatable terms. Exodus 33 verse 20 confirms God's incorporeality and the impossibility of perceiving his true essence. And he said, Thou canst not see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. This verse underscores that God's essence is beyond human perception. The metaphorical language does not imply physicality, but serves as a means for humans to grasp divine interactions. The Hebrew Bible also emphasizes God's moral perfection and unchanging nature. 1 Samuel 15 verse 29 states, And also the strength of Israel will not lie nor repent, for he is not a man that he should repent. This verse mirrors the message from Numbers, reinforcing that God's decisions are perfect and eternal, unlike the changeable nature of human thought. Again, this is not merely a comment on God's superior morality, but a statement about his immutable nature. Furthermore, God's omnipresence and boundlessness are articulated in Jeremiah 23, verses 23 to 24. Am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God afar off? Can any hide himself in secret places that I shall not see him? Saith the Lord. Do not I fill heaven and earth? Saith the Lord. This passage highlights that God is not confined by space or time. His presence fills all of creation, further disproving any notion that he could be limited to a physical form. In conclusion, the Hebrew Bible unequivocally teaches that God is not a man. This truth is not limited to distinguishing God's perfect character from humanity's corrupt nature. It also makes a profound statement about God's very essence. The revelation at Mount Sinai, where the Israelites heard God's voice but saw no form, stands as the most powerful testament to his incorporeality. Verses from Numbers, Hosea, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, and Jeremiah collectively establish that God is beyond human form, limitations, and imperfections. Understanding this fundamental truth preserves the sanctity of God's transcendence and allows for a deeper, more authentic relationship with the divine, one rooted in awe, reverence, and the recognition of his infinite and formless nature. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss future content. And remember to check out my book on Amazon. Links in the description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.